You know, some of the wars of history started over very little things, but they became big things. I love, he just is so graphic. He says, this is scary. You can tame a tiger, but you can't tame a tongue. It's never been done. The tongue runs wild, a wanton killer. With our tongues we bless God our Father, and with the same tongues we curse the very men and women made in God's image. Cursings and blessings out of the same mouth. My friends, this can't continue. A spring does not gush fresh water one day and bad water the next, does it? Apple trees don't bear strawberries, do they? Raspberry bushes don't bear apples, do they? You're not going to dip your cup in a polluted mud hole and get a cup of clear, cool water, are you? Do you want to be counted wise? To build a reputation for wisdom? Here's what you do. Live well, live wisely, live humbly. It's the way you live, not the way you talk, that counts. Yeah, that's what it says. It's the way you live, not the way you talk, that counts. Whew. You know, we started in this church back on Ash Wednesday, this season of Lent that's over now because it's Easter time. And I said that Lent was a spiritual recovery program for lapsed Christians. James is calling us to face up to the fact that we are lapsed and do something about it. He says God's ready to help if we'll just ask. He says that if we don't put our words into action, our faith joined to works, we can't count on anything. He says that we must live well, wise, and humble. Boasting that you are wise isn't wisdom. Twisting the truth to make yourself sound wise isn't wisdom. It's the furthest thing from wisdom. It's animal cunning, devilish conniving. Whenever you're trying to look better than others or get the better of others, things fall apart and everyone ends up at the other's throats. Sure sounds like a church meeting to me. Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life and is characterized by getting along with others. It is gentle and reasonable, overflowing with mercy and blessings, not hot one day and cold the next, not two-faced. You can develop a healthy, robust community that lives right with God and enjoys its results only if you do the hard work of getting along with each other, treating each other with dignity and honor. They do a better job of getting along with each other in the United Nations than some congregations do. If we're going to grow up, if we're going to recover spiritually, we got to go back to where James started and understand that we're not our own. And we don't get to set the rules. If God says You have to be gentle and understanding, full of mercy and forgiveness. That's all we got to do. We can't say, but Lord, but Lord, but Lord. I don't know a human being who's not been wrong at some time in their life. So what? The next time you're feeling wronged, have a little talk with Jesus. I think he was wrong quite a bit. And he can say to you, if you'll listen, he can say to you, let me show you a better way. Let me take your hand and lead you to a better way. You see, that's where you put faith in action. I don't know if anybody's still doing it. A few years ago, it was very popular to wear our little band with WWWJ. What would Jesus do? Problem with it was, everybody, well, not everybody, I shouldn't be unfair. A lot of people would say, what would Jesus do? They'd have the right answer, then they'd say, but I'm not Jesus. I can't do what Jesus would do. And then they'd do whatever they wanted. I told a story once about an old Western. I don't know, is my battery going? Yeah. Well, come and take care of it, Ashish. Not that I really need a battery. I have a pretty good preaching voice. But in this old movie, there was a pastor, and just do that for me. There was a pastor who was preaching about Jesus and how Jesus said, you know, if a man strikes you on the right cheek, give him the left also. You know, that very popular passage. And of course, this was in the days of the Wild West, right? There, see how quick that was? Thank you, Ashish. Give him a hand. See how quickly problems can be solved if you just ask for the help you need? So, in this story, the man wanting to be good like Jesus allowed a rough and tough outlaw type to hit him twice. The guy hit him once and said, "What's your Jesus have to say about that?" And he got back up and he said, "My Jesus says, if a man strikes you on one cheek, then turn to him the other also." What'd you do? Give me bad batteries? And you know, when you take out batteries, you should throw them away and not let them lay around. Oh, look at that. I must have touched it wrong. James says, you know, don't act like you... See there? I'm blaming Ashish for giving me bad batteries, and it's my own fault. But to his credit, he came to look about it. He didn't just say, "Pastor, I know I put those batteries in right. You did something." But in this story, he gets up and he says, my Jesus says, if a man hits you on the right cheek, turn to him the left cheek also. And so the guy says, bam, and hit him again, knocked him down. He says, well, what's your Jesus have to say about that? He got up and said, my Jesus doesn't say anything after that. I think he missed the point. All right. We need to treat each other with dignity and honor. We need to do the hard work of getting along with each other. And it is hard work. If we're going to make this work, we've got to be honest. And one part of honesty is to say, some people are harder to get along with than others. But that's no excuse to say, oh, I'll get along with her because she's nice and sweet and it's no problem, but I can't get along with her because she just drives me nuts. It's hard work to get along. Because sometimes to get along, that means that you have to be willing to shut up. How many of you really like to get the last word? Come on, let's be honest. You know, it's like, okay, honey, you're right, right? You know this one, right?